of course, but it's been warm. So as you can see, it's starting to melt a little bit on the Susquehanna. So there are some pockets of the water kind of seeping through right now, seeping through that ice. What I have learned today from the Harrisburg Fire Chief Brian Enterline is that we've got about 6 inches on the Susquehanna River right now, but that's going down. However, he's not concerned about flooding at this point, but that doesn't mean that he stops monitoring the situation. So he says things that he does is he's watching for the water level. He's watching to see any ice buildup. So he says one thing to look out for is ice dams. So what happens there is that starts to build up and raise that water level. Of course, he also says another thing he looks out for is to see if there are any heavy rain events that are oncoming, because of course that will add to the water level there, obviously. And also we know that just talking about the even current water level, so where it starts, right now what we're looking at here is roughly 5.6 feet here on the Susquehanna River, and he says that's relatively low, which is why he's not exactly completely concerned at this point. Again, just to bring up, all of those factors, he says if that happens all at once, like it did in 1996 when the Walnut Street Bridge collapsed, he says that's where you really see those problems. So he's looking out for all of those things combined, but he says that right now, this is where we're at. We're starting to see it melt. Luckily, the sun was out today. Again, nice and warm, but that also doesn't mean just because it's warm outside that you should head out and participate in any river activities. So he says just be super careful, even though it might be a good thing. That's one thing that you should not do just yet. He also says while we're not seeing flooding happen right now at this moment, that it is good to prepare as we enter February, March. He says are checking in with your insurance company to make sure that you have flood zone coverage. He says that's super, super important right now. So I'm going to give you one last look behind me here at the skyline. Obviously so beautiful, but the ice that's just kind of layering on there right now, and slowly we'll see in these coming days start to melt away. So that is what we've learned today from Harrisburg Fire Chief Brian Enterline. And as we continue to monitor the situation and watch out for any other weather events that may come up in the next few months, we will of course update you and watch as this continues to, the water level continues to go and rise potentially with those events. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll have much more for you on air and online at cbs21.com. Thanks very much.